Let's invite Yasin to give us the opening remarks and the welcome. Yasin is with you now.
Thank you, Fernanda. Welcome, everyone. It's really, really wonderful to see all these faces and names from across the globe. Looking forward to meeting you all in person in a few weeks' time. But welcome to the first of our online sessions. Each of you will go through at least 2 sessions before we meet in person. I am Hyacinth Armstrong Vaughan. I am the coordinator of the BIOPAMA program in the Caribbean. I'm based in Barbados. And myself, alongside my IUCN colleagues, a few of them are on this call, and you will meet the full team again in a few weeks' time. We are very, very happy to have this session with you and to begin this journey with you, this knowledge sharing journey. For those who are not familiar with the programs that are coordinating this effort, so we are 2 programs, BEST 2.0. It's a part of the B4 Life flagship initiative, and it supports field actions for protection and biodiversity in the EU overseas countries and territories. So it's a grant funding program for small scale field actions related to biodiversity conservation and sustainable development. The BIOPAMA program. So BIOPAMA stands for Biodiversity and Protected Areas Management, and it's assisting the Africa, Caribbean, and Pacific countries to address their priorities for improved management and governance of our biodiversity and our natural resources. One of the things that BIOPAMA is doing is providing a variety of tools and services and funding to conservation actors in the ACP countries. So you will get to learn a bit about each other's programs, and I'm looking forward to learning more about what you have been doing in this journey, as both programs have been supporting efforts on the ground to advance and promote and to conserve our natural resources. So this first session is really to introduce you and introduce all of us to what we are hoping to achieve in this knowledge sharing journey, which is really, we're trying to capture what has happened on the ground, learn from your impacts, and see how we can move that forward at a local level, at a national level, and at the global level. So thank you very much for taking the time to be a part of this process. I am hoping that we can all support you in advancing the work that you're doing. It's very heartwarming to know that you are not alone in the efforts that you are doing, but you have colleagues in your respective regions and across the globe working towards a common goal. So we are hoping that through this initiative, this journey, that we can start to highlight and tell the world, shout to the world, this is what we have been doing and this is what we are doing in our respective areas. So thank you very much for being present. Thank you very much for being here and sharing. And I will now turn over to Fernanda to give you a little bit more. Oh, actually, no, before I do that, I should go through the agenda. So let me back up. So for today's session, we will be going through a check-in, which Fernanda will lead. And then we will have some etiquette and netiquette, so the do's and don'ts of how we should function in this virtual space. And then we will take some time out to understand what the knowledge sharing journey is all about. You would have received a series of emails back and forth, and you would have had some conversations with your respective regional focal points. We will give you a full concept of what we are hoping to achieve with this knowledge sharing journey. Then we will have a health break. And when we return, you'll be going into the small groups, the breakout groups, to give a little bit of feedback to your colleagues on what have you been doing in the field. So we're going to start collecting your stories from the field. That will be followed by Panorama Solutions, And I won't go into what that is, but some of you may be familiar with it. And we are hoping that your stories can be a part of the Panorama Solutions platform. Then we will come back and I will give you an insight into where we are in our preparations to meet in Nairobi. Then we will check out and end this session with a view to convening again in a couple of weeks' time. All right, so welcome again, and I will turn over to Fernanda.
Thank you very much. So we want to know, and we are curious about you and who is coming, where you're calling from. So our checking is just take a couple of deep breaths and answer the question. So we want to make sure you are present. We know each other here. So do a quick round of presentation. You can answer the question in the Zoom chat, but if you feel comfortable to use a Google Doc, Alex is sharing the Google Doc document link in the chat. You can click on there. This is our harvest document, which is a very useful tool to capture everything that is happening today. So you can come back to this document later on, and it's an online Word document so everyone can type on it. So let's concentrate and please share your name, where your feet touch the ground, and answer the question, what is exciting you about the knowledge sharing journey? Sit with the question for a moment. We will have 5 minutes to write our answer. And when you finish, you can take a moment to read what others have written. Remember, you can write directly on the chat or you can use the harvest document. Here is our harvest document. You have to click on the link. You can add your name and you can read what others are adding to it. If you don't feel comfortable, just use the chat box and Alex and Justin will help us to bring this back to the virtual harvest document. If you have finished, you can read your colleagues. Okay, are you finishing? Let's take 1 minute more to read our colleagues. What are exciting you about this knowledge sharing journey? I think first thing is that it's global. We are seeing people all around the globe. I think this group, we are talking with colleagues from Caribbean and Eastern Africa, Southern Africa, right? We will have other groups covering other regions because of the time zone difference, but in Nairobi will be a very global group. It's very nice to read from you. You're exciting about learning with each other, learning from the challenge and the triumphs. Being together, hearing your stories, learning specifically about your interventions in protected areas, in natural and cultural heritage, hear about other projects, getting to know more about inspiring people around the globe, getting your insights, solutions on the ground, celebrate each other's success, meet new colleagues, networking, sharing some lessons on community engagement, about conservation of biodiversity. Very, very good. Thank you, everyone, for being here with us. It's very nice to be with all of you. So, to support our sessions here in this online environment, I would like to suggest some etiquette. I think the etiquette for the online space, we just said that we are going to keep your microphone closed. We invite you to keep everything closed except the Google Doc and Zoom. You can keep your video on so we know and feel you in the room. But there is also some behaviors that we would like to invite you. We are here to share. So it's not a webinar that just us are going to speak and you're going to hear or have 24 PowerPoints. This is really about knowledge sharing, and we hope you enjoy that. So to make this a success, we have here few suggestions. So the first one is slow down, so you have time to think and reflect. You don't need to answer in a rush. And this is for the online, but this is also for the whole journey. We are inviting you to take a time off of your daily work. We ask you to agree to commit days and time to do this journey. So we really want to take you out from the routine, from home, from all the daily responsibilities to focus on that. So let's agree to slow down and focus on that. We are here to listen to each other. This is the first step of the process, right? We need to listen to others, but we are here to listen to understand. not to judge, not to make any judgment about what you are hearing. We are here to understand others' perspective and others' stories and others' experiences. Please focus on what matters, even if we are keeping you some time here and in Nairobi, we need to focus on what matters. Contribute to your own thinking. So every time we do a question, is not a debate, it's for you to bring your own reflection, your own thinking. Try to link and connect ideas. So you hear your colleague talking about their experience. Bring and connect the ideas with your own experience. Remember to speak with your mind and your heart. The experience is more than just outputs and indicators and results. It's about changes that we are doing in people's life, we are doing nature. So contribute your thinking and speak with your mind and your heart. Listen to patterns. Listen what are the common points. Pay attention to the possible insights and try to do deeper connections with others and with the stories. And don't forget, we want you to have fun. So if you keep this in mind, I'm sure that we are going to have a very nice journey together. And I will just now give you very short introduction about what the journey is about, complementing what Yasin just said. And we are continue building that on the face-to-face engagement in Nairobi. So our journey together, first, let's see who is coming with us, right? We are going to do a journey. We have several steps, but let's first have a look of who is coming with us. As I said before, you were in a group here about Caribbean and Southern Africa, but we have other colleagues from West Africa, Central Africa, Pacific, and Eastern Africa. We have colleagues coming from Polar, we have colleagues coming from Europe, even South America, like me. So who we are and how many we are. So we are about 56 grantee projects all over the world and around 20 staff. That is also coming as participants. So I will let you know more about that in a second. We did some profiles. So you say, oh, why I have to answer this registration file so big? Because we want details from you. So we have 51% of the participants on the age from 31 to 45 years old. And we have 28% of 46, 60 years old. We are here, we are talking just about the grantee project. So we have 57% of male participants and 42 of female participants. But don't worry, because our staff team is almost 9% women. So we will get a very good balance of gender during the workshop. This will not be an issue. And as I told you, we are coming from all the regions. So we have more or less balance between participants. We have around 12 participants coming from Pacific, 8 coming from Caribbean, 9 coming from Southern Africa, 10 coming from Eastern Africa, Central West Africa, 11 coming from Eastern Africa, and 5 coming from Central Africa. We are quite balanced on that. And we are also representing different types of grants. So as Yasin said, we have 2 programs. We have BIOPAMA grant mechanism and we have BEST grant mechanism. So we have around 10 grants coming from BEST and the others are coming from BIOPAMA. But in BIOPAMA, they just not have one type of grant likewise BEST. They have 4 different grants. They have the medium grants, which will represent 80 grants coming from this type of grant, which is a big amount of resources for a long term. But we also have representatives from a small technical grant from assessment, which is a very specific call. We have 10 participants coming from STGA. We have 8 participants from Rapid Response Grant, which was a mechanism during the COVID period. And we have 14 participants from small technical grants. And when we ask you about who are you in the project, which role and responsibility you have, the majority is somehow taking decisions, because you are in between project coordinator, project leader, project manager, project director, manager. So even if you choose different titles, I think most of you are having this role and responsibility about the implementation of the project. But we also have colleagues coming from the financial side, like financial officer, financial management team, from staff, but also from the grantees. We also have some colleagues that are responsible for the monitoring and evaluation, communication, being the focal point of this grant, which give us a very good perspectives to represent your grant. Just one comment that I think it's important. Please remember that you are coming to represent a project and a whole team. So when you are going to do your documentation, your experience, remember to bring insights from your colleagues as well. So it's not a personal perspective, it's a team perspective that we are looking here. We also asked about your social media presence, and we have the majority of you present or your projects using Facebook, some of you using LinkedIn and WhatsApp. And this will help us also to think about how we are going to communicate about our projects afterwards. So this is who we are, and let's see now the steps that we are going through. So this is our journey. We probably have more small steps in between, but this is not important for today. The important is that we are now starting this period where we are finalizing our package, like we are packing our luggage, buying your tickets, doing your reservation in the hotel, and hoping that you are going to have some preparatory activities with your team. And Mahi will talk about it in the next session, in the following sessions. And now we are in the workshop day 1, where we want to give you this overview perspective. So it's the first time that we will talk a little bit more than normal, just to give this overview perspective. But from now on, we are moving to the more participatory process. So don't worry that we don't have much PowerPoints. We will have a second workshop in 15 days. So not next week, the following week, we will have another workshop. And then we go for the 5 days in Nairobi, where we aim to do this documentation of experience. So what we are expecting from you, the grantees are going to pass through a process to document their own experience using Panorama solution template. And you're having a lot of sessions where you're going to share your stories, where you're going to identify the elements that allow you to reach some results, and what are the challenges that you face and how you manage this challenge to give other results and to adapt and to adopt. And after that, which we aim to, 1, document your stories, your experience, learning together about project management, but also about technical aspects. So we will have sessions where you're going to share about how you're recovering ecosystems, how you're working in improving management and governance of protected areas, how you're improving biodiversity monitoring, and so on. So during the learning together sessions, we are going to share technical aspects, but also project management, financial management, communication, and visibility. And we are going to celebrate your achievements, because we know you work so hard to make all this project happen in the field and reach many results, change people's lives, support natural conservation. So we want to celebrate with you. We will have cocktail, photo competition, and many field visits and many other activities to do that. And we hope that when you leave workshop, we will be able to use these lessons and this good practice for your new project, for your organization. And to your work, right? We hope that you can help us to share these results that you got, the documentation that you provide, and promote this to other donors, to other projects, to other communities. So this is our pathway. We hope you will enjoy and have a safe travel. Now, my last comment here is what we want to get. So when you are leaving Nairobi, what we expect that you have in your luggage bag, we really hope that you will be able to complete the Panorama Solution template where you are going to document your own stories. And as I said, the project team, the 20 staff that are coming with us, that are not implementing one project in special, but they are implementing the mechanisms, they are going to produce a grant fact sheet. So BIOPAMA team will reflect and document on the grant mechanism to do another BIOPAMA action component maybe in the future that is even better. And it's the same for BEST team. They are going to reflect in the BEST grant mechanism to improve and adapt for the next BEST call that will start, I think, second semester of this year, allowing to have an even better program to support your action in the field. We also going to invite, especially for the small technical grants assessments, you will be invited to produce collectively some infographics about the tools and the experience that you had using tools for assessment. You can share success stories about specific communities, specific people, or specific places. We will have a podcast. We will do some interviews with some of your grantees to share in a circle some experiences in some specific topics like species conservation, governance and protect area management, and other topics. We will create a photo album through the photo competition, and we also have video testimonials. So in Nairobi, you will be invited to record a video testimonial. Okay, so we have a lot of products to deliver through this journey, and we hope these products will serve to you as professional, to your organization, as a grantee institution, for your project itself, for your communities, for donors, and so on. Okay, I think that's from me now. I would stop sharing my screen. If you have any specific question about the journey, you can write on the chat. I will try to clarify, but we will have other opportunities to do so, okay? So now I'm tired to talk and I want to hear you. I want to hear your stories, and we will invite all of you now to share your stories, okay? How this will work. This is the funniest part of the session. You will be invited to have a conversation with 2 or 3 other colleagues and share a bit of your grant story. Okay, how we are going to do this? We are going to create small groups and you will be invited. So in your screen will appear a message. So please close your other pages, because then you see when this announcement comes from Zoom. We will invite you to join a group. You go there and then you have 20 minutes to share. So if you are four participants, you can introduce yourselves, your name, where are you from, your project, and then you tell us a story. Focus on what matters and tell us a story when you worked with others, with your team, on a challenge, and you are so proud of what you have accomplished. What happened? What made this success possible? So Alex, copy the question on the chat so you can reflect a little bit on this question while you are creating the groups. And please remember, we are here to listen, to understand. Remember, you can use a talking piece, like a pen, to say it's my turn. And when you finish, you can say, I'm done, or I finish. please go. So host yourself and host your colleagues during the conversation, okay? You will be in a group. Please, if you can select one participant that feel comfortable to type on the Google Doc the storytelling. And when you're going to tell, someone else can type your story. In the Google Doc, you can choose any group. Just type your names and type your stories over there. Okay? Just to remember, we will appear a message to say, please join the breakout group. And also, we will send some messages to tell you about the time management. We will remember when we have 10 minutes passed and when we have just 5 minutes left. Okay, any questions so far? You can also have some reactions there. So you can raise your hand if you have questions, just say hello if you are fine with this. If you have any questions, you just send to us. So Alex, are we good? Can we invite everyone to go to the groups?
I think so. Would it be okay if I shared my screen so you can have a look, just in case there are any objections as to how I split everybody into groups? Can we?
No, you can send. Then if you have problem, we can change. I don't think it's a problem. Just remember, colleagues, someone asked how much. We have 20 minutes in the small group, and then we come back for a collective harvest for 10 minutes. Okay? Is that okay for everyone?
Okay.
Okay, so.
Okay, then here we go.
Bravo.
3, 2, 1, get ready. So now they have 30 seconds to come back here.
Yes. Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome back.
Estamos a ouvir.
Mário, now I have to... agora eu vou ter que
Speaking
deixar
now.
o seu microfone, tá bom, Mário? Você tem que clicar no português and then you are going to hear the translation. Se você clicar no português, você pode escutar a tradução. Hi, colleagues. Welcome, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this exchange. How was it? I see some smiles.
Eu quero, não sei se posso continuar.
So, thank you for the reactions. Alex, maybe you can help Mario to click on the global, or Cristina with your Spanish. So colleagues, let's just take a deep breath. Maybe you want to stretch your arms and maybe you want to even to stand if you want. We are here almost 1 hour now, so it's time to move a little bit. Now that you are back in the main room, I wish I could hear from you. So whatever you want to share, we want to hear from you. What did you notice in common about these stories? From what you heard, what stays with you? So if you want to just can open your mic, or you can also raise your hand using the reactions button, and you can share open your mic and share some of your perspectives, please? Who wants to start? Ingrid, do you want to start and share with us?
Sure. I think what stood out to me was that, we all thought that team was important and involving the community in what it is that we're doing and looking at how our work, while based on nature, and most of us, all of us really are doing something nature-based. It's important to think about the indigenous people or the communities that we are interacting with. And that we were also very grateful to our donors and the team from the donor agencies who were assisting us on the ground. Yeah.
Thank you, Ingrid. Alexandra, do you want to share with us what stayed with you, what took your attention?
I found it fascinating about the islands that Augustine is working on, and the animals that they're protecting, the turtles, and also similarly that we're all trying to do something for nature. We were both on rapid response grants, whereas other colleagues were on medium-sized grants. So differentiation there is quite interesting to learn about the other aspect, especially having started a grant before COVID hit. Augustine and I are both COVID relief grants, so that it was very interesting to learn about what they're doing.
Fernanda, we can't hear you.
Sorry, maybe someone else want to share what took your attention, what make this success possible? Ivani, Mr. Gift, Sabine. Yes, go ahead.
I can go, yeah. So I think one of the main topics as well, or one of the main points that came up in the discussion, is also ensuring continuity. You know how sometimes you get these projects that you're able to implement certain ideas. Sometimes they're innovative ideas that, perhaps have never been done before, or that, for the moment you're able to implement, but also ensuring that whatever engagement, whatever implementation happens on the ground, that once the project is closed, we're able to continue providing those, for example, outreach with communities, especially, but also, the work that we're doing within the protected areas that we work with, or whatever areas we work with.
Thank you. Augustine, Sabine, Francesca, who wants to share? Amanda?
Hi, Augustine
Please.
here. Yeah, I was just reflecting a bit just before you called my name, actually. And I was thinking about impact, the impact that the grant created, because both Alexandra, Alex and I, we had rapid response grants, and the impact that COVID had on the economy and our program, the Celebration National Trust program, was one which really rendered the organizations, unable to implement their programs. And if it weren't for the grants, we would not. There would have been a huge gap in terms of programming. So the impact of this grant and it's the ability or the opportunity afforded us to really continue our programming and to ensure that there was this huge gap, because it would mean that you would have had to start all over again. Even albeit that the trust itself, I mean, it wasn't just COVID, it was loss of subvention, which was exacerbated by the pandemic. And so So and I think the impact that the grant created and in terms of ensuring that our programs continue was a huge one. I just wanted to make that point. Thanks.
Thank you, Augustine. Who wants to go next? Francesca, Lorna, Sabine.
I can go.
Go ahead, Sabine, and then Francesca.
The same, it's the same story everywhere, that we lack sustainable financing, and we're struggling with that. And thank you for the grants that we have. It's a great opportunity. Plus, when you have built a good volunteer community, it can help you tide over the hard times. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm curious to hear what make possible the success you got in the field. The question was, what made this challenge became a success? What made this possible? What you heard in the groups? Francesca, you wanna go? And then Leroy also has his hand.
I'm not sure what you mean with the question. So what do you mean or what made it possible so that for the project to become a success?
Yeah, we ask you to share in the small groups a story where you face a challenge and reach some results, right?
Yeah.
And then what make this change from a challenge to a success possible? What took your attention when you heard other stories or about your own story?
Yeah, as Ingrid, also Ivani already mentioned, I think also in common among the different projects was that we were all referring to people and community involvement and how it's critical to have the community involved to be successful. And it is a challenge in particular. I mean, we all come from very different countries and even continents. So I'm really looking forward to meet you all because I think we can learn a lot. And I come from, I mean, I work in an island that is very multicultural and definitely with the face some integration also issues. And there is so much to learn when you work in this situation. So the way you can tackle communication, outreach, and community involvement, I think is really critical for the project success, and in particular for the project continuity, because I think is the long-term achievement are even are as important as the short-term achievement. As Augustine was saying, it's true that very important the impact of the project today, but also how the project can enable, you know, future project or can kickstart or guarantee the continuity in the long term. So I think we should all focus on that, right? Or not only on what we achieved during this time frame.
Thank you, Francesca. Thank you. Leroy or Gift?
Okay, thank you. I think what I've learned so far across my interaction with the community is that the community is eager to learn, especially when it's something to do with their health, because we try to link how vouchers help to clean the environment and how that can relate to their day-to-day living and their health, and they're eager to learn, especially if it goes around those areas. And with the limited maybe workforce from our end, we had to choose maybe which communities to work with, considering all they wanted to be part of it, and the resources didn't permit all of the communities to be part of it, but they are really eager to learn. And another thing is that there should be synergies with other partners who do the same thing. I think that was a strong point for us, to work with other partners, either government bodies or a private NGO or some other stakeholders which are already on the ground. It made our work easier for us to penetrate in the community and start this project and come up with these results.
Thank you, Leroy. Sorry if I forgot. We have
Gift here.
Yeah, Gift, and then we also have someone else, Mama Shreani. So Gift, please.
Yes, it was fascinating with the discussion we had in our group. It was interesting to hear about different projects across different landscapes. People working in coral reefs, quite different from the landscape that I work in. But I was struck by the project that Ingrid in Jamaica talked about. She's managing what she calls one of the biggest, if not the biggest, protected area in Jamaica. And I was just interested to learn about how they were hit hard by the pandemic. And what was unique was how the BIOPAMA grant came in to push on the impact. You know, it's very uncommon to see grant makers that would come and fund people's salaries in an organization. It's quite unheard of. And well, it's slightly different from the project that we had as the Wildlife and Environmental Conservation Society of Zambia, was we had a small technical grant for assessment. So for us, salaries were not part of the project. But just to hear about how Ingrid's organization was helped through the COVID pandemic from the grants that they got from BIOPAMA was very interesting. But also one thing that was a bit saddening was to hear about how Ingrid experienced a number of resignations after the project. You know, it would be something that could be considered. I think she attributes it to emotional stress that our co-workers would have experienced, you know, at a time when the message was for people to stay at home. But now there was a project that was funded, they were required to go back to work, and through all the experiences that we had in different countries in the pandemic, perhaps that could have contributed to the number of resignations after the project. But that's how the funding helped them and kept them going. Something I found quite exciting.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Let's go for the last contribution for this part, and then we move on. Mama Shiane, please.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm not sure if I'll be on the right track, because I'm not sure whether we have to share what we shared in our small groups. But let me continue.
Not necessarily share what happened in the group, but what took your attention, what you heard in common or indifferent from the stories you heard.
Okay. What I had in common is that most of the project are working with the community members. I was sharing my experiences because our project was to undertake the site level assessment on governance and equity, also to do the IMET training, which was just training on the tools and doing the assessment themselves for the national parks. We were demonstrating for one park, Sisawatwe National Park. And the results, what we learned from the results, one of the things that we learned from the results was on the stakeholder analysis, that in our conservation, community conservation forum structure, we don't have representatives of women, youth, and men. They are not represented in the structure, because this will help to improve collaboration of all stakeholders to participate in decision-making, which will yield transparency and accountability in governance and management of the park. I was also sharing an experience on the community associations around the parks, around the park. that most of them were not registered, and then they don't have access to donor funding. So they are not able to implement some of the activities. So we assisted them to register legally their associations and have their constitutions ready for their community associations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So now we are closing this session on the stories and sharing stories. If you want, we will give you 2 minutes to take a break, water or toilet, really quick, because we want to give you a space to talk in this harvest popcorn. So we are going to come back in 2 minutes. To the next session, okay? If you want, you can close your mic and camera and come back in 2 minutes, please.
This is a very good idea, Fernanda. Timer.
Okay, let's come back. Open your camera. I hope you stretch, take a break quickly. We are now starting the session on Panorama Solution, and I will invite Marie to share with us a bit what exactly is Panorama Solution and how we are going to work on that. Please, Marie.
Thanks, Maria Fernanda. Hello again, everybody. My name is Marie Fishborn. I'm the Partnership Coordinator for the Panorama Solutions for a Healthy Planet initiative. And you'll be hearing quite a bit about that throughout this capitalization journey. Give me just a moment to share my screen. Okay, can you see the slides?
Yes, we can see.
Excellent. So Panorama is a knowledge and learning initiative of IUCN and other partners. And the approach of Panorama for learning and knowledge exchange is really central to this capitalization journey. It's actually fully integrated into the design of the journey. We will use the Panorama case study template to document experiences or solutions from your projects. And we are aiming to have these case studies available as a publishable outcome by the end of the process. So throughout the journey, you will gradually learn more about Panorama, its approach, and this case study format. But today we're just going to focus on the idea of solutions. What is a solution in the sense of Panorama, and what is a good solution? So as you can see on the slide, by solution, we mean a particular aspect of your work or your work process that was done to solve a specific issue, problem, or challenge. So typically, this is not the entire project with all its activities, but only the successful elements of it. And you see the titles of just 2 of the solutions that are published on the Panorama platform here on the slide to give you a first flavor of what could be the framing, the topic of such a solution. We have 3 very broad criteria for what constitutes a solution. The first one is around thematic relevance and an integrated approach to conservation and sustainable development. So the solutions respond to challenges in nature conservation, sustainable development, and human well-being, and they contribute to maintaining or improving the health of biodiversity ecosystems and the services they provide. We're also looking for examples of solutions that address conservation and development challenges in an integrated manner. The second and probably most important criterion is around impact. So the solutions provide a successful approach to problem solving, and they have an impact that is relevant for achieving the sustainable development goals, the global biodiversity targets, and other global policy agendas. So they ultimately contribute to those bigger goals. And they promote ecological, economic, and social benefits. One question that we hear a lot is how we verify the impact of the solutions. So how do we make sure that those are real solutions, so to say? And the answer is we don't. We don't verify that for a number of reasons. Firstly, the solutions by definition are something that is subjective. They're not like research results. So something that I consider was a really great success story, someone else might disagree. Someone else might say, well, maybe this helped to solve a conservation problem, but it actually created a whole bunch of new socioeconomic problems. So there's no objective way of verifying. Another reason why we don't do that is simply for reasons of limited time and resources. We have over 1,200 solutions on Panorama now, and it would be impossible to thoroughly verify all the claimed impacts of all these case studies. And then a final reason is that the approach of Panorama is really about peer-to-peer knowledge exchange rather than sort of top-down verification or certification. So it's up to the users to decide what is useful and what is not for their particular context. So what can they replicate based on the knowledge, or from the knowledge that they find in Panorama. And then the third criterion is around replicability and scalability. So certain elements of the solution should have the potential for adaptation, replication, and upscaling or upscaling in other geographic, social, or sectorial contexts. And what is not a solution? Well, if it's very time-consuming and lengthy to explain the essence of the work, then it's probably not appropriate to try and fit that into one case study, but what you have in mind might actually be material for multiple solution case studies. Also things like publications, reports, research, certifications, or networks, products, or people would not be a solution themselves, but they might be raw material in the case of a publication, for example, or an important component, a contributing factor to the solution outcome. For example, a person might have been a really important contributor to that solution because that person was a very strong champion for achieving the results. So Panorama connects what we call solution providers, the knowledge holders, and potential replicators for mutual learning. And it is open to principally anyone to share their experiences and provides a neutral platform. The solution providers represent a wide spectrum of organizations, and especially for solution providers that come from grassroots type of organizations, the benefits are around promotion, visibility, and recognition for their work, but also around support for distilling and documenting their lessons in a structured manner, and support in self-learning and reflection. And of course, through this capitalization journey, we're doing that in a very deep and profound way, more than we usually do in Panorama. And then solution seekers can find, or a similar group of people, because it's about peer-to-peer exchange. The solution seekers can use Panorama to find inspiration to design new initiatives more effectively, to understand trends, but also, for example, to inform research or decisions with real-life examples and evidence from the field. So the slide gives you a small glimpse of some faces, logos, and quotes, voices from this community of solution providers. And the key message here is really that anyone can be a solution provider. No project or organization is too small, in inverted commas, or too specific. But the key is to share the knowledge in an accessible way. And we cannot know in advance which solution might be of value for another practitioner who grapples with a similar problem and who happens to find exactly this particular experience, so your solution, to be useful for their challenge. So all of the solutions adhere to defined quality standards, and they're being reviewed by subject matter experts before they're being published. And I'm going to give you a very quick overview of these quality criteria that we apply. So this is what you should bear in mind when you start writing up your solution case study. And it is what the reviewers check, what they look out for. In the process of our capitalization journey, we actually have the review process integrated with the solution documentation process. This means that we will support you in making sure that by the end of the journey, your solution meets all these criteria and that it is an excellent, well-written, publishable knowledge product. So I'm introducing you this criteria now so that you get a sense for what is important and what we are working towards. But don't worry about the detail of all this, because we're going to have a lot more time, especially when we're together in person, to work towards this quality level. So we look for things like, of course, just basic stuff, such as have all the mandatory sections of the template been completed? Is the information in the right place? Is the author affiliation and contact information correct? Have all the correct tags been assigned? Is the language clear and understandable? Have we avoided redundancy between the different sections of the template? Also things like, are abbreviations properly explained? Technical terms, are they properly explained? And then very importantly, we look for sort of the logic chain of the case study. So you will more about the idea of building blocks in the next session. The building blocks are the key components that made up the success story. Are they logical? Do they describe the flow, or does it feel like something essential is missing in the description of the case study? And then there's also a section that is not mandatory, that is called the story. But if that has been provided as well, it should be inspiring, it should be meaningful, and it should complement the more technical description of the case study in the other sections of the template. The photos and videos that are being provided together with the text should be meaningful as well. Of course, they should be of good quality. And then there's also the possibility to provide additional resources. So they should, again, add value, provide access to further relevant information. And then finally, all relevant institutions and individuals need to be acknowledged. So we just had this session on storytelling, where we shared in a very free, open way some success stories, some examples of what we are proud of from our work. But how do we now move from such a general storytelling approach to actually identifying and documenting the solutions from our work? Well, one important point is to find the balance between being specific and being general. You want to be specific enough so in that your solution provides meaning to others who might not be familiar with the context of your work, but at the same time stay general enough so that it is relevant, more broadly relevant to others, and that it is inspiring and they can quickly and easily understand what you have done. Also, we need to move from thinking about projects to thinking about specific successful aspects of these projects. And please let me be very clear that this does not mean that we don't want to talk about the aspects that did not work. You hear me talk a lot about solutions, of course, but learning from failure and discussing how an approach was adapted because it was not initially successful is equally important and will be an important part of the conversations we will have. So this is the end of what I wanted to share today. We'll have a bit more time on this in the next online session. But until then, I do have a little task for you that I'd like you to think about together with your teams that you're representing and who were involved in the grant and the project. So by the next online session, please have a think about what could be the possible delineation, the broad framing of your solution story, and come with that prepared in your mind. So there's no need yet to write anything down unless you want to take your own personal notes, but nothing official, so to say. And you could also have a look at some examples of solutions on the Panorama platform to get inspired, especially the section called Summary in the template. And then next time when we meet in about 2 weeks, we're going to pick that up, and we'd love to hear some first thoughts from you on how you would frame your emerging solution that will have finalized and documented in detail by the end of the process. Thanks very much. And with that, I hand back over to Maria Fernanda.
Thank you, Mahi. We have some, maybe you can check on the chat. You can write your answer, or you want to speak. They want to know how you know it's useful if you do not verify the impacts and the difference between capitalization and Panorama solution. I try to help on that one. You can send a message to gift colleague because of the time. We can invite Yasin now to come back to us to say some practical aspects about our travel to Nairobi.
Thanks, Maria Fernanda. Thanks, Marie. All righty. So on our way to Nairobi, Kenya. So what do we have in place right now? I can share some logistical information to help you get prepared, and you'll be, of course, in touch with your regional focal points. At this point, we can confirm the hotel and the venue. It's going to be the Windsor Golf Hotel. And you will have the link in the chat so you can have a look and see. And then, of course, we will share this with you in our updated logistics notes. Flights and visa letters. You should have received by now information for visas if you require one. If you have not, let us know so we can get that information to you right away. Some of us need transit visas, some of us need visas to enter Kenya itself. So please coordinate with your regional focal points. Similarly, flights, we would have also been coordinating that with you, identifying your itineraries and finalizing those so that we can all arrive and be ready to start on the 2nd of May. Again, if you have not received any information related to either of these, please link with your regional focal points. Please make sure you bring your laptop with you with all grantee documentation, photos, videos, materials produced, reports, log frames, etc. We want to be able to have access to these to help us help you develop your content. We will have working sessions. This is a workshop, so we want to make sure that you have your laptop during the sessions in Nairobi as well. So make sure you have everything you need and everything that goes along with that. And please check in terms of the electrical outlets. We're all coming from different parts of the world. So make sure you have your adapters and all those other things that you will need to power your devices. We will have a photo competition. So we want to make sure that you can participate. So if you have photographs, we would like to get the 3 best photos that you have of your grant project. And you can submit these to be judged, and we will celebrate the winner on the evening of May 5th. So have a look at the photographs you've been taking or have taken during the course of your project and submit for a competition. And Maria Fernanda mentioned earlier in the call that we would be having video testimonials. We'll be capturing these on site. So we invite you to come prepared to give us a little snippet about your project on video. So please link with your colleagues who are not coming with us to this physical journey. Get a feel for what you think needs to be represented in the testimonials. And so when you are on site, you can put together a 2 to 3 minute video testimonial. All right, so that's about it for now. We will, of course, continue to liaise with you through emails. If you have any questions, if you need clarification on anything, you can put it in the chat here now, or you can, as I said, email your respective regional focal points. All right, so that's it for now, and back over to you, Fernanda.
Thank you, Yasin. So you can send any comment in the chat or by mail, like Yasin said. So to honor our time, we would like to do a checkout. We are very curious to hear from you how you are living today, our first meeting. So to check out, let's do a quick answer. You can, again, send your comment in the chat box or directly in the Google Doc. So Alex, please, you can copy the Google Doc link again in the chat. You can add your inputs there or directly in the chat. So please share your name and respond to the question. What is the thing that caught your attention the most in today's meeting? It's just a thermometer for us to improve and prepare for the second session that we will have in 2 weeks' time on April 24th, right, Yasin? Our next call. So if you can give us maybe 2-3 minutes reflection, you can add your checkout answers in the chat or in the Google Doc. And if you have a specific question, you can also put on the chat and we will try to answer you now. I will check what's going on with the best BIOPAMA webpage, but normally it should be on. I saw that's not on, but thank you for letting us know, Ivani. In any case, you probably received the same information by email, but we will make sure that the site is online in a few minutes.
Maria Fernanda, there's some questions in the chat that I think would be, well, that were directed to me that I think would be good for everyone to hear the response to. So I think someone asked if they need to bring hard copies of materials produced. If you can manage relevant materials, that's fine. But if you have electronic versions of it, that would also be useful and probably better for you in terms of what you're able to carry luggage wise. If you want to bring anything to share with colleagues as well, that's an option for you, but it does not have to be a hard copy. Okay. In terms of the photo competition, yes, I think we would like to restrict the photos to the best and the BIOPAMA funded projects, to be fair. So yes, we will limit the photos to those two, well, to the respective project that was funded under either one of those initiatives. And the next session is going to be on the 24th of April. Same time, same Zoom link. And we will send a reminder. Okay, I think that's everything I'm seeing here.
Thank you, Yasin. Complete your checkout, and if you have written, you can check what others found interesting about today.
Hi, Hazel. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please. Who is speaking?
Yes.
Gift.
Yes.
Yes, regarding the photo competition, looking at the different types of grants that we are coming from, I'm not sure some of our projects did not have pictures, nice photos of the biodiversity of the landscape. We were more of workshops and things like that. I don't know how fair the competition will be if you present pictures from the workshop compared to pictures from the coral reefs.
Yeah, we will send you through email some criteria for different types of photos, because we are not looking just for environment and landscape. We also are very interested in people. So we don't worry that you can do a first pre-selection of the photos in high quality, because we want to use these photos for communication materials. So they need to have a good quality. And you will receive by email some specifications about the photos, quality, and types, okay? We will be fair enough to cover the different types of brands with more than one category. Okay, any other questions, comments? No? I think colleagues are finishing their checkout. Maybe you can all open your cameras now and maybe also your microphone. And we can say goodbye in your own languages. And say bye-bye for today and see you on the 24th.
2 weeks. Yep.
Thank you very much. Obrigada.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye. Very nice
Adios.
meeting you.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.